In this documentary, we will look at the pros and cons of social media and try and answer the question, is social media manipulating young minds? First of all, are you on social media?
I am, yes. Yes, I do use social media.
Yes.
Yes, I use social media.
Yes.
Yes.
I am, yes.
What do you use social media for?
I use it mainly for keeping in touch with friends. I also might use it to find information, like the news and things like that.
Okay.
If there's anything interesting going on. Yeah.
Just keep in touch with my old school friends mainly,
Okay.
and just keep in touch with family I don't see often.
Contact, some information, get to know people like across the world that you can't talk to like everyday lives.
Keeping in touch with people mostly, seeing what my family are up to, sort of spread across the country and my friends and stuff like that.
Communication and entertainment.
Do you think social media is manipulating young minds in the sense of how to look and act?
Yeah, I think definitely with younger minds, yeah, there's a lot of material out on Facebook that, any social media site that kind of dictates how people should look and be, and that influences how the people act on the website, on the sites themselves. So when you're speaking to each other, that comes across. So I think that definitely it's quite a strong influence.
Possibly for advertising. I've noticed advertising's got a lot more. They've got a lot cleverer. We have advertisers, our companies advertise on social media.
Yeah.
So I'd say that that's influencing.
In my honest opinion, yeah, because I've looked at some people that I've never seen social media, and they act completely different to people that I've been introduced to it.
Yeah.
The ones that haven't been introduced to it act cocky and then say what they think without thinking of the consequences, whilst the others that don't have social media, they know what consequences happen when they act.
Okay.
They have more confidence in what they're saying.
So if you watch videos now on Facebook, like after about 3 videos, an advert will pop up.
Like
they have sponsored promotions and stuff.
like tailor adverts to specific people.
Yeah, that as well. So definitely.
I think it could do like any form of media does.
Yeah.
So you see images and you want to replicate them, things like that. It sort of shows you what the social norm is, I guess. If you see a lot of people that are looking the same, things like that.
There's like certain people that have certain styles and there's like trends that the trends that come on, like Facebook is now trending, like, and teens are gonna like follow what the trends are.
On the terms of being manipulated, do you always believe what you hear on social media, or do you tend to question it?
I often tend to question it, but I think that's because I'm a little bit older.
Yeah.
If I was younger, I think I'd very much take a lot of what is said on social media at face value, and I think as you get older, you do begin to question things. So I don't take anything at face value, but I understand why a lot of young people do.
No, never.
Never.
Now that's my rule of thumb, to not believe it.
Yeah.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rubbish on it.
I'm kind of in the middle. Sometimes I question it, sometimes I don't even bother with it. I don't go on it as much as other people.
Yeah.
I'm like on it like once a week maybe, that's like it.
Usually question it.
Yeah.
Don't tend to believe everything that I see.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
anything that I see, really.
Not always, it's not very reliable.
I think I've got a bit more streetwise. At first I didn't know because I didn't know if Alan Rickman had died, and I thought it were one of them hoaxes, when they're death hoax and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit upset about that, to be honest.
For further evidence on the case, we set up a social experiment where we brought in 3 college students to react and give their opinions on the video extracts we were about to show them. We first showed them an example of the public being manipulated by social media in the past.
Have you seen this video before?
Yes, I have.
So what are your opinions on this video?
It's very funny.
Have you seen this video before?
No. Oh.
Alright, so first of all, before we start, what are your opinions on that video? Like, was it shocking to watch?
No, it was funny.
It was funny?
Yeah.
So, you're questioning the video then?
Yeah. He's point.
Alright, so you think, did you believe that?
Believe what?
That video? You think
Yeah.
it was real?
Yeah.
So, in no other circumstance did you feel it was fake at all?
Not really.
Were you wondering that?
Yeah, actually, like, did she set on fire?
Should we show the full director's cut?
I think it's time.
Now, that video obviously is fake and Jimmy Kimmel is the one behind it. Now, does it lessen the impact of that video now that it is fake?
Not really.
Now it's fake, what do you think about it now?
I didn't care when I first watched it, to be honest.
So...
If she set up set on fire, she set us on fire. It's her own stupid fault. Even if it was set up.
Does it change your opinion now, you know the video's fake?
Yeah, a little. It's not as funny.
Yeah.
It just seems fake and it's not real and genuine.
So would you say you were manipulated into believing that was real?
Kind of, because anyone could do this.
Yeah.
Anyone could like start twerking and then set itself on fire, and it couldn't have been a prank or anything.
I just feel like it's trying to create more viral videos out of something that's not real and trying to create a hype out of something that's not genuine to get more people.
So, did it take away from the kind of the shock factor that it's fake?
No, not really. I
So-
was too shocked first time.
So were you-
So
So were you kind of like manipulated into thinking that this video could be possibly real when first saw it?
yeah, there are a lot of stupid stuff on the internet, so probably it could have been.
If that had been more malicious, say if it would have been something more serious, do you think it would have, do you think it would be less believable or more believable?
Probably more believable.
Yeah.
By stuff that's happening nowadays, if it was like more serious, say someone's got kidnapped or,
Yeah.
I'd probably believe it, but I still question whether it is real or not.
Do you think these videos kind of, like, do you think of how, it's scary of how easily they're manipulated?
Yeah, definitely, because it just shows how media takes something and takes advantage of it because they just want to create a viral video out of it rather than, actually being genuine.
We then touched upon the dark regions of social media, cyberbullying. Cyberbullying has been a big problem with social media, with countless of young people going as far as to even take their own lives because of it. This next video is a news outlet of a girl who committed suicide through cyberbullying. Now, have you ever been in a situation of cyberbullying in any form or way?
No,
So you've never been affected by it at all?
not really, not personally.
What are your views on cyberbullying?
I think it's wrong, but there are things that people can do to prevent it.
So if you were this parent, what would you have done to stop the cyberbullying?
Counselor asked her how she felt, and she said she thought she was doing a lot better.
She changed schools.
I don't know.
Her mother took her cell phone
I've never
away and
been
monitored Rebecca's
involved
online
in it,
accounts.
so you don't
The
really
police
know
say
how
the
you
bullies
act
began to target
towards it
Rebecca on
until
social
it
media.
happens.
Her mother did.
What do you think about this mother who she kind of had no real control over that social media of how people treat her daughter, and now her daughter's been taken away from her because of social media?
I think it's tragic, but I don't think social media is at fault for that. It's just people. And there are things that people can do when they experience it that they can go to someone, but sometimes people aren't brave enough.
So what do you think about this girl committing suicide through cyberbullying?
It's a big issue.
Yes.
A lot of people get cyberbullied, and a lot of people are aware about it.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that has to be dealt with.
Hmm.
But like parents should also have control on their kids and what they're actually looking at and stuff.
Hmm. So, with so much media sites coming out, social media sites, do you think it's easier for people to just cyberbully you?
Yeah. Even though there's like stuff in place to stop it, it's not going to stop.
She kind of bottled up her feelings and stuff. Do you think it's healthy to bottle up stuff, or do you think you should really talk to someone about it?
Oh, I definitely think it's not healthy to bottle stuff up, because even if you think you're fine, it may get too much and may push someone over the edge.
You don't think that cyberbullying is going to stop anytime soon, or?
Probably not, no. As long as you've got people who are out there trying to stop it, you're always going to have people out there who are still doing it.
We didn't want to leave our participants feeling low on social media, so we showed them what good social media can do. So, have you ever heard of that kid?
No, I've not.
Well, it's this boy who's got leukemia. Now we're focusing more on kind of the light-to-heart side of social media. He made a wish to make a wish to become the Batman. To go this far just to make this young boy's dream come true.
I think it's good because it shows that people focus on making a difference in even like one person's life. It doesn't matter if it's just one person, even if you make one person's life better, it matters.
What are your opinions on kind of like how big social media can make things?
I don't know. I think social media has a big part in everyone's life, and it can influence big changes.
Yeah.
Affect people in certain ways.
It's just very positive and it's making a difference in the world because everyone came together to make a difference.
So that was social media that did that.
Yeah.
Spread out the word. So even though social media can have repercussions like cyberbullying, it could also help us like this. What's your opinions on kind of?
I think it's just there's like positive and negative things to everything in life, and social media will have positive and negative repercussions, but there's so many positive things that come out of it, and I feel that that's the most important thing.
Possibly inspire you to make something?
Yeah,
So
I think it would inspire me to do something like this. Try and get people involved all together, do something good for maybe someone else instead of me, because I'm not really like...
Yeah.
Just make someone else happy.
And you know, that's the making kind of like a lot of people joining together.
Yeah, it brings everyone together, and it's just focusing on making everyone feel compassionate and everyone's being kinder to make someone's wish come true.
What are your overall opinions of this, of social media as a whole?
There's good sides and bad sides. It depends what you write, what you do with it, and whether it affects you personally. But overall, I think social media is a good way of communicating with people.
So, even though you've seen kind of like the good, the bad, and the ugly in a way, it has affected the way you view social media?
Not really. I still view it in like a certain way of believing certain things and not, and whether it affects me. But to be honest, it doesn't really affect me that much.
So, you don't think, you know, because you're not into social media as much, it's not as big in your life as it is.
Social media is a big part of my life because I use it every day. I look on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all this. But the things that's on there, it doesn't affect me.
Does it affect your views on social media, these videos?
A little bit, yeah, because I question things, like some of the videos, like viral videos, I question those, but then other things make me have a bit more faith in humanity and see a lot of positivity in the world.
But what causes people to cyberbully? Is it self-image and what the masses believe what people should look like through the media has told them? What's beautiful and what's not? To help us understand more, we brought in a couple of experts. How long have you dealt with cyberbullying?
We've had a couple of instances of students, but on the whole it's been pretty okay, to be honest. But I do also admin a number of internet groups or Facebook groups, like selling sites and things like that, and it's rife. Cyberbullying is rife on there, and certainly a lot of young people take part in that, and certainly a lot of young people are also victims of that. And that's been going on for years now, but seems to be increasing, to be honest. People seem to be desensitised. And whereas before they may have thought about what they said, it now seems that maybe they don't. And the first thing that they think about, they'll type, regardless of the repercussions.
How would you know how to decode people's behaviours without any words?
It's difficult, but as a teacher, you certainly know how to decode people's body language, I guess.
Yeah.
So often people who are sort of sat with their arms folded are really defensive and not ready to learn or not ready to listen to you. There's rolling of the eyes you often get as a teacher as well, which obviously suggests there's an attitude there. If someone's sat upright and things like that, you can tell that they're ready to listen to you, they're ready to learn. Obviously you can tell a lot from a smile. There's certain things that you can tell.
So from all your experience of dealing with cyberbullying, what has been the worst case you've ever experienced?
There's been loads. I think probably the latest one that's kind of happened, and that's the other thing. People seem to forget that the internet has the capability of spreading around the world, so it's not just you that's dealing with that. It might then spread around the world. People can screenshot things and send them. There are websites that are designed, or rather Facebook sites that are designed purely to instigate arguments and people to go and join in. So they'll tag and say, this is someone's profile, this is what they've said, and you'll find that hundreds of people suddenly jump on that profile and get involved. You've also got the press now. I don't know if you've noticed, but online a lot of internet stories are coming out. So they're spotting things. So the latest one that I've seen involves a dog grooming site where somebody recorded last Friday that their dog hadn't been returned. It seemed like a private dispute between the grooming owner and the dog owner. But because that dog owner filmed part of a conversation, not the whole incident, and uploaded that onto Facebook, within 4 or 5 hours, that person's business had been ruined. So you had sort of 4,500 people leaving on their Facebook page, which obviously they've spent a long time building up. It is their business.
Yeah.
There are people that work for them, giving them 1-star ratings, bombarding them with abuse. Their telephone number and their address was given out. People were messaging their employees. People were messaging their family, all because of one 1-minute clip.
Do you think that young people on social media are good at decoding social media and take the oppositional approach, or do you think they take more of a dominant approach when it comes to what they hear on social media?
Okay, so like believing or not believing.
Yeah.
I think generally young people, a lot of them, it's quite generalisable, but are probably quite naive and do believe a lot of stuff that they read on social media. However, like I said, a lot of students in this college and in this department, I think, know better than that and know to question it. And when I've used examples in class about hearing that celebrities have died and having to go double check on other sources, people have been like, nah, I've never done that. Whether they're telling the truth or not, I'm not sure, but I think a lot of young people are quite naive and would take the dominant approach, but those that are intelligent and those that are clued up would definitely check twice.
So kind of what you talk about you talk about victims of cyberbullying. What's their kind of like mindset of it? What's going through their thoughts?
I think it would be very difficult to it's going to be up to the individual, isn't it? How they feel. Everyone's going to take things differently. There's a story out, I don't know if your viewers are aware of this, but again, the power of social media. There's a page that was set up about 3 days ago, a 14-year-old girl who was being bullied, included in cyberbullying, who took an overdose.
Yes.
So her family have recorded that event and her in a coma in the hospital and taken photographs and stuff, and she's now woken up, and they've said that she's going to admin that and then become an advocate for bullying. So it's very difficult to kind of say there's a blanket, this is how a victim feels, because everyone's different. But I would say to people watching, how would you feel if you hadn't necessarily done anything wrong and someone points the finger at you, and before you know it, people around the world are bombarding your family, your friends, your workplace, your college place with untruths about you, and you don't have the same platform to voice your side? I would imagine it would be scary. It would be intimidating. It would be very, very difficult for anybody to deal with that without being affected in some way. It must be horrendous.
So, like, And they don't think about the consequences.
I don't think they do. I don't think they even think that they're bullying. They have an opinion. You know, freedom of speech, that's always kind of put out there. You know, there's freedom of speech and there's common sense. There's freedom of speech and there's the law, so discrimination. There's also, you know, that you have to have empathy in a situation. You have to have a certain level of intelligence to realise that actually I'm only seeing a small part of this. This may not be the full story. Unfortunately, you see, you know, hundreds, thousands of people, that doesn't seem to happen, and they just jump and join the mob.
Yeah. What kind of emotions or behaviours can people express through body language?
Through body language, so you could express that you are sort of friendly with a person by the way that you sit with them and things like that. You could express a lot of emotions, and like I said, a smile tells you a lot about a person. A smile obviously can change a person's day as well, so maybe their body language was being portrayed as sad or maybe a bit down, but you can smile at them and suddenly that might uplift them. You can tell a lot about a person from their body language, I think, yeah.
Do you think personally it's become a big problem with kind of like manipulating people emotionally for both attacking and being attacked?
Yeah, it's. I mean, I can't say worldwide or nationwide or locally. I can only talk from my own experience, but it's definitely becoming more common. It's like a line's being crossed, the Pandora's box has been opened. You know, people would go on the internet and wouldn't necessarily say what they think, and now, you know, they see other individuals do it, and it kind of like, well, that's okay because they're doing it, so why can't I do it?
Yeah.
And it seems to be that, and as more and more people grow up and see this, because people forget, Facebook, you can be 13.
You could be any age on
Yeah,
Facebook, really.
well, you can. You should be 13,
Yeah.
but obviously you can be younger. Now, adults need to set that example. In society, adults are kind of, this is the barometer of how society should behave. If you're seeing people being pulled apart on social media, well, then that becomes the norm.
How about decoding in adverts and the three different types of positions that Stuart Hall talked about? Dominant, negotiation.
So obviously I talked before about the media producers encoding text with their attitudes, beliefs and things like that. Stuart Hall suggested, he was a theorist, he was a massively influential media theorist, and he suggested that when you're watching a media text, you decode those messages that have been put in there by the producers. And he said that you're not necessarily going to take a dominant approach, which is where you agree with everything and believe it. You might also take a negotiated approach where you can see what they were trying to get at, but it doesn't sway your beliefs either way, or an oppositional approach where you sort of, as the name suggests, oppose what you're watching. Again, see what they're trying to get at, trying to sell you, but you don't, it conflicts with your own attitudes and opinions and things like that.
Well, for my generation, you know, when I was at school or at college, that's where I went. When I went home, I was at home. You know, I could be myself, I could let my hair down, get into my pyjamas, do what I wanted to do, and I could leave that kind of life behind. You've now got, and I'm talking young people here, I'm talking 12, 13, who their life is played out on social media. So there's no kind of getting away from it. You can't say, well, that's my persona in school. You've got to carry it over into your public life because you're being monitored by other individuals at school. It never goes away. And that must be very pressured. You know, my makeup's perfect, my hair's perfect, my hair's the wrong style. Oh, what am I wearing those shoes for? You know, or I like the wrong film actor, or I like the wrong musician. And it's constantly trying to fit in and conform, and that must be putting a lot of pressure onto people.
So there you go. We have given you our research on whether young people are manipulated by social media. We have gone to the public, experts, and young people themselves. We have conducted social experiments on the subject matter. Now, we leave it up to you to decide yourselves. Are young people manipulated by social media?